Welcome to my video. Today, we're diving into some juicy wedding Am I the A-hole stories, where drama, emotions, and I-dos collide. Let's get started and see who's walking down the aisle of accountability. Am I the a-hole for not going to my friend's wedding after what she said to me? Note that she is putting the word wedding in quotes. Not the best start. A few months ago, a friend of mine told me she was getting married. It wasn't meant to be a regular wedding, but more of an elopement kind of thing. It was supposed to be her, the groom, me, as the maid of honor, the best man, and a few close family members. About 10 people in total. The wedding was planned for early November. I say the word wedding in quotes because there will be no invitations, no save the date, no ceremony, no walk down the aisle, just a courthouse and dinner. A week ago, I got the news that I had secured a permanent job. It's a bit tricky to explain because this is something very typical in my country. Every so often, the government hires professionals to work either in administration or in public institutions. These positions are usually a great opportunity because they're lifelong, essentially until you retire, and you can't be fired. To qualify, you have to take an exam, and depending on your years of service and your exam score, you may get one of these jobs. Long story short, I took the exam last year, and last week, I was told that I got one of the positions, but it requires me to move to a different city. When I told my friend about this, her only response was, "When are you leaving? Can you still come to my wedding? No congratulations. No, I'm happy for you." Nothing. For context, 2 weeks ago, I had asked her where we'd be having dinner for her wedding, and she told me she hadn't planned or booked anything yet. Had she told me at that time that everything was booked and that she really needed my RSVP, I would have understood her reaction. But given the situation, I've decided that if the only thing she cares about is her wedding and she can't even be happy for me, I won't be going. Am I the a-hole? Okay, so here's the deal. Both of you were a little rude here. You are definitely dismissing your friend's wedding choices with those quotes and the tone, which feels a bit judgmental. But the bride was also pretty self-centered, skipping the congratulations and focusing only on her day. That said, I think the friend's concern came from a genuine place. She just wanted her friend there for her big moment. It's messy, but not full-on a-hole territory. And if you are wondering, yes, this person was officially labeled the a-hole from the community. All right, let's jump into the next story. Am I the a-hole for refusing to attend my sister's wedding after what she did to my fiancé? My sister, Ella, is getting married in 2 weeks. We've always been close despite being opposites. I'm more introverted, and she's the life of the party. But things took a turn recently. I've been engaged to my fiancé, Mark, for a year. He's an amazing guy, and my family has always liked him, or so I thought. About a month ago, Ella asked Mark to meet her for coffee, saying she needed help picking out a wedding gift for me. But when Mark came home, he was upset. Ella had spent the whole time trying to convince him I wasn't right for him. She told him I was too boring, not ambitious enough, and that he could do better. She even suggested he should call off the engagement. Mark defended me, but he was blindsided and hurt. When I confronted Ella, she didn't deny it. She claimed she was just being honest and looking out for Mark. When I said she had no right to interfere in our relationship, she shrugged and said, if I was confident, I wouldn't be upset. No apology? She doubled down instead. My parents know and agree Ella was wrong, but they're begging me to attend the wedding to avoid a family rift. They think I should let it go for the sake of peace. I feel betrayed and furious. Mark supports my decision, but he's hurt too. I don't know if I can just pretend everything is fine on her big day. Am I the a-hole for refusing to go to my sister's wedding? Wow, no question here. Ella was completely out of line. Trying to sabotage her sister's engagement by going behind her back? That's not looking out for Mark. That's just plain cruel. I don't blame OP for not wanting to go to the wedding. Why support someone who tried to tear down your relationship? Honestly, Ella owes a massive apology. And as you can imagine, this person was labeled as not the a-hole. All right, let's move on to story number 3. Am I the a-hole for cropping my sister-in-law out of my wedding photos after she said she looked fat? Throwaway because sister-in-law has my main account. My wife and I recently got married on a riverside farm. We had a photo shoot before the ceremony, and my sister-in-law was one of the bridesmaids. Sil has always been a negative person, often making judgmental comments, which is why my wife and she aren't close. I assumed sister-in-law was included in the bridal party to please my wife's parents. During the photo shoot, sister-in-law complained about the sunny weather and her dress absorbing heat. Most people ignored her, and the rest of the day went smoothly. 3 weeks later, we got the photos from the photographer and shared them with the people involved. Most thanked us, but my sister-in-law called my wife, screaming that she looked like a fat pig in every photo and demanded we not use any photos with her in them. For context, sister-in-law is bigger than my wife, but not unhealthily so, and she looked no different in the photos than usual. My wife tried to reassure her, but sister-in-law insisted that if we posted any photos with her, she would put us on blast and never speak to us again. This upset my wife, and I was frustrated that she thought she could control what we did with our wedding photos. Here's where I might be the a-hole. I decided to crop her out of the photos and post them on social media, thinking it was a reasonable compromise. She called me even angrier, accusing me of erasing her from the memory of the wedding. I told her I was just accommodating her request while still using the photos. Sister-in-law hasn't spoken to us in a week, and my wife's parents are upset with us. My wife is on my side, but thinks I could have handled it more maturely. I don't think I did anything wrong. Am I the a-hole? Honestly, I don't think you're the a-hole here. Wedding photos are expensive, and at the end of the day, they're for the couple to cherish, not for anyone else to control. Sister-in-law specifically asked not to be in the photos, and he accommodated her request. She could have handled this way better than throwing a tantrum. And once again, as you all can imagine, the community decided that this person is indeed not the a-hole. All right, let's move on to the next story. Am I the a-hole for kicking my mother out of my wedding after she brought my ex as her plus one? I started seeing June about 3 years ago. My mother has never really liked June for a few reasons, the main one being that June didn't let my mom push her around. She set firm boundaries, which I really admired, and she even helped me do the same. My mom hated this, calling June controlling and wishing I hadn't broken up with my previous girlfriend, Margot, whom my mom loved. I was with Margot for 5 years, and it was horrible. Margot was very controlling and manipulative, and always guilted me into things I wasn't comfortable with. Thanks to the support of my friends and my sister, I was able to leave her. It was hard, but I had help, and my life has improved since. My mom was very upset by this, but relationships didn't last, so she eventually let it go until I started dating June about a year later. When June and I announced our engagement, my mom didn't freak out, which was weird considering how much she hated June. She was very calm, but I just took it as her finally accepting this, so I didn't think much of it. Everything was fine until the wedding. I gave both my parents plus ones for the wedding since they both remarried after I graduated college. I'm not particularly close to their spouses, but I gave them the option of inviting them. We had a very small ceremony, just immediate family and a few close friends. After the ceremony, June and I went to take pictures, then met back up with everyone at the reception, which was pretty big. When we got there, my sister and June's best friend, maid of honor, ran up to us in a panic. Before they even said anything, I spotted it. My mom was sitting at the table with my dad's wife, and Margot. I wanted to freak out, but June kept me calm. I walked over, pulled them both aside, and simply told them to leave. My mom tried to explain that Margot and I are soulmates and that June is just in the way of true love, but I wasn't having it. I didn't care. I had my best friends escort them out and return to the party. After a few moments, I was able to relax and enjoy it. I really didn't think this would turn into something huge, but after June and I got back from our honeymoon, we didn't have our phones. When I finally checked mine, I saw hundreds of texts from multiple family members. They all think I was an a-hole for kicking my mom out of her only son's wedding. For the record, she was there for the ceremony, but apparently she was really upset about being kicked from the reception. Here's a summary of my family's thoughts. Some think I could have just ignored Margot and didn't have to freak out. A few others, including my dad, think I should have just kicked Margot out and let my mom stay. But after the stunt my mom pulled, I didn't want her there either. I'm starting to second-guess myself since everyone is really mad. June and my sister are on my side, but I fear my dad may be right, and I should have just let my mom stay and made Margot leave. Am I the a-hole? No, you are not the a-hole. The situation was clearly a difficult one, but your mother's actions were completely inappropriate. She not only brought your ex to his wedding, but also tried to undermine your relationship with June by claiming she was standing in the way of true love. It's understandable that you wouldn't want her at the reception after that. The community seems to agree with you. Most people feel that you had every right to kick her out after such a stunt. It was his special day, and you didn't need to tolerate that disrespect. Sure, it might have been better to handle things a bit more calmly, but at the end of the day, you stood up for your partner and your happiness. Your sister and June are on your side, and that's all that matters. Wow, that was definitely a wild ride. I hope you enjoyed these messy Am I the A-hole stories as much as I enjoyed reading them. If you liked this type of content, let me know in the comments, and I'll be sure to make more videos like this. I'm just getting started with my channel, so don't forget to like and subscribe, and if you have any suggestions, feel free to drop them in the comments. Thanks for watching!